You're thinking about starting a podcast? How about learning from someone who's produced multiple high-ranked podcasts in the game? If you are, this one's for you. Let's go. Class is in session. Oh man, how y'all doing? I'm Michael J. MacDonald, and I'm gonna be teaching you how to start a podcast. I produced a multiple podcasts that have high rankings on Apple Podcasts. So if there's one thing I know how to do, I know how to produce a podcast. And today I'm gonna show you some of the things that we've done to be able to rank so high. You know me, I thank you guys for, I appreciate you guys for following me. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me, subscribing, all those good things. I love you guys. Y'all are great. Y'all been treating me so much. Y'all been pouring into me and I'm pouring into you. Guys, if you can, check out my website, MacDonald.com. That's MacDonald.com. Please check it out. See all my new updates. See if you want coaching, if you want group coaching. So you want to start a podcast, and that's great. I think everyone should have a podcast because you want your voice to be heard. But step one, let's go to step one. Step one. Step one. My handwriting is pretty bad. Step one is going to be, what is it going to be about? What is your podcast going to be about? That's going to be step one. Now, me personally, if I was you, I would make a podcast about something that I feel comfortable speaking about. Like if it's sports and I love sports and I love speaking about sports, do a sport podcast. If you like crime stories and you love reading about crime stories, do something about crime stories. Like me, my whole podcast is based off of my whole entire life. Whether I have my family relationships, I have business, I have classes like this. It's a little bit of everything that I do. So I kind of took my whole entire life and I made a whole entire podcast. The thing about it is I'm posting every single day, different pieces of my life. So it makes it a little difficult to talk about one thing and post every single day. Now, there's some tricks to that, and I'll explain later, but the first thing is, what are you gonna talk about? That's the first thing. Once you realize and figure out what you're gonna be able to speak about and enjoy doing, then we go to step two. Step two. Who's gonna be listening to your podcast? Who is going to be listening to your podcast? That's step two. You wanna realize who's gonna be your audience. Who are the type of people that you're gonna go after or target to come listen to your podcast? You can't market something unless you know your audience. So once you know your audience, then it's much easier to market to your audience. Now you're gonna be more females, more males, what's the age group, what are their interests, like things like that you have to kind of research and understand who you're gonna be marketing to. So that's gonna be step two. Step three. I'm new to this board too. How do you want them to feel after they've listened to your podcast? What is the goal for your audience? For when they listen to your podcast, what do you want the reaction to be? How do you want them to feel? That's the third step that you have to think about before starting a podcast. All right? Step four. When will you be releasing your podcast? That's the thing. When will you be recording your podcast? That's another thing. You got to get all those logistics in place, because the sooner that you have everything in place and you have a workflow, the easier it's going to be to produce your podcast. So you want to make sure you know when you're going to record, where you're going to record, all those different things you got to know where. Step four, I'll put step four. Step five, where? Step five is where. You want to know where. Mind my handwriting, but that's why I'm speaking to you. But you want to know where you're going to record. So once you know up to step five, then we're ready to get into business. We got all of that. The next step, step six. format. Now, step 6 is gonna be format. Now, format is in multiple things. Format of who's going to be hosting. Is it gonna be you and another host? Is it gonna be you and a guest? Is it gonna be you by yourself? Once you figure out who is going to be on the show, the next thing is the format of the show. So now mine's, let's talk about mine's. My first thing is a hook. I got a hook, number 1, right? That's what I'll say in the beginning of the episode. Number 2 is gonna be an intro, right? Number 3, I'm telling you what I'm gonna be talking about. So this is like a table of contents, right? Table of contents of the episode. So that's what that's gonna be, right? I'm telling you, kind of giving you my bullet points and stuff like that, right? 4, I'm gonna tell you a story, right? That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go into a story about what I'm about to be speaking to you about. Number 5 is the information. This is the core of the episode. Number 5. Number 6, I do like a reaction, right? So this is a reaction to all the information I've told you. How it may change your life, what would happen, or what's the opposite of it. That's number 6. Number 7 is gonna be encouragement. I encourage you to be better in your life. I encourage you to learn this podcast. I encourage you, all those different things. Those are the different things that come into, that I have in my podcast. And number 8 is the outro. And I put like a CTA in that outro. What is a CTO? A CTO is a call to action. CTA is a call to action. CTO. Call to action. So that's basically my whole entire format. Now, once you have this format down, it makes it so much easier to make episodes because you got to think of a hook. You got intros pretty much the same, right? One thing I'm going to start doing is saying my name. Saying my name. Say my name. I started with today. You should say your name every time in an episode. And that starts with the intro. Hi, my name is Michael J. MacDonald. Welcome back to another episode of Michael J. MacDonald Show, or whatever, however your intro goes. You want to say your name. And then you go into welcome back. Thank everyone for coming, for subscribing, for following. Be very appreciative to your audience because they're the ones who make you. Without them, there's no you. So you have to be very supportive to your audience. And don't ever forget that. So you want to say your name in the intro. The next thing is the table of contents. Talk about what you're going to talk about during the episode. Give some bullet points and say like, 1, I want to talk to you about how to start a podcast. I want to talk to you about how to make a podcast, how to market a podcast, all those different things you want to talk about in your table of contents. Then story, you're going to say, for instance, this is in class format, right? So this is a little different. I'm teaching more in this one. But if this was a podcast format, I would tell you, how did I become big? How did I start making podcasts? What made me get into the podcast world? I'm going to tell that story. And then I'm going to go into basically everything I'm going into with the information. And then I would go in reaction. I would say, listen, you can sit home and not do anything and just always think that, what if I started a podcast? But you can also make a decision to take this information and apply it to your life and become really big in the podcast space. But that's your decision. And then I will go into the encouragement. Guys, you got this. All the information's here. You don't need anything else. This is the information you need. All you need to do is execute. You got the information, you got the blueprint, now execute. You could do this, you got this. And that's the encouragement. And the outro is thanking everyone for coming. And listen, if you want to get more information, you want to go deeper into this, go to my website and sign up for my one-on-one. And I'll be there to hold your hand through the whole process. Simple as that. And that's your episode. That's simple as that. Right? Let's recap what we spoke about so far. We spoke about what is it going to be about, who it's going to be about, how we're going to do it, when we're going to do it, where we're going to do it, and we talked about the format, right? So You got all these things. You're ready to record the podcast. Now, there's a few things you got to do. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to go to redcircle.com. Redcircle.com. That's where you're going to go and register your podcast. I did have an affiliate link, but I don't know what happened to it. I think they stopped doing affiliates. I was making too much money, they said, so they said they had to stop doing affiliates. But you're going to go to redcircle.com and create an account. Why do I say Red Circle? Because that's the one I use. So I'm familiar with that one. I can tell you to go to a bunch of other ones, which you can, but I'm familiar with this one. So just go to redcircle.com if you don't have a podcast, right? You're going to register your whole entire podcast. You're going to make a thumbnail. These are things that you're only going to have to do once. You're going to make a thumbnail. You're going to make a title to your podcast, a name for your podcast. You're going to give a bio for your podcast. You're going to also distribute your podcast to all the different places, right? You need to make a trailer. I like to make a trailer to do the distribution so I can do a release on my episode. So make a trailer for your distribution. So you're putting the trailer in the episode and you're distributing that trailer to all like the Spotify, to Apple Podcasts, to Google Podcasts. There's a few other ones up there. I only use those 3, but you can use all of them if you want. So now you got the trail, you registered the Red Circle, you've uploaded your trailer, you distribute it to all the platforms, you're ready to start your podcast, right? This is a tip or a tack in the top of your bio. In the top of your bio, the top of bio, right? You're gonna put the day you release. If you release Tuesday, every Tuesday at 9 a.m., put that on the top. So people see that right away in your bio. And you're also gonna do that on YouTube. I spoke about that on YouTube, but you're gonna put the release date. So now people see your podcast, they know it releases on Tuesday at 9 a.m. So you want them to be familiar when you release. Okay? That's the thing. All right, we got that. So now we're ready to go record an episode. You recorded an episode. It was great. You had the great editing. Now it's time to get downloads, get views, and promote your podcast. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna upload your podcast, ready, scheduled for Tuesday at 9 a.m. Let's say that's your release date. And then you're gonna market your podcast. Now you gotta market because you gotta get viewers into your podcast, right? The way you're gonna market is a few things, right? On Red Circle, they have a cross promotion platform, right? Where you can go, hey Ben, what's up, Ben? I'll advertise your podcast, you advertise my podcast. 9 out of 10 times they all say yes because they got about the similar listeners. So you're starting off from 0 to 1,000, I think, or 0 to 100. You'll go to all the 0 to 100s, right? Now you go to 10 or 15 of those, that's 1,500 listens you could possibly get in a week. So you hit them up, say, listen, I'll put your ad on mine, you put my ad on yours, boom, that's free. The next thing, you gotta get on as many podcasts as possible. I know it's gonna be hard in the beginning, but use your relationships. The people that you know are in the podcast space, try to connect with them. Try to say, listen, let me get on your podcast, you can get on my podcast, whatever. But you gotta get on as many podcasts. And you make sure you tell people that you have a podcast on that podcast. Why? Because they consume content on a podcast, on an audio format. You need to talk to those people that consume content already as an audio format. So that's your audience. It's just now you gotta niche your audience, but your audience is the people that listen to the podcast in an audio format. You got that, cool. The next thing this is what I do. You can text all your friends and family, say, hey, I just started a podcast. Can you check it out on the audio side? Send them just one link. Don't send them too many. Just send them the audio link because we're going to promote this podcast, the audio side. Boom. Can you check it out? Just tell me what you think. Give me your thoughts, whatever. All your friends and family, just text them all. That's gonna get you ranking, right? And I'll explain that too. So you got that. Now, if you have a budget, you can go to Spotify. This is another site called AudioGo. I've never used AudioGo, but I know they also promote your podcast on other podcasts. You just have to pay per CPM. Now, I'm gonna get into that. So you can cross promotion. You can go on other people's podcasts. You can text people. I'm trying to recap. You can also data collect. Have a website where you can get data. Like, so when you were in the beginning of starting your podcast, make a website where people could put their email, the number, say, hey, I'm releasing a podcast such and such date. Sign up here to get the release date and all the information when I release. Boom. You'll get a few hundred people, right? That's gonna be also people that's gonna be rushed to your podcast when you release. So that's another way to get people to listen to your podcast. Another way that I'm not really too fond about, but you can still do it, I still do it every now and then, is using Instagram, YouTube, all those different outlets, because the reason why I'm not too fond about it is because I know that they don't consume content on an audio platform. They're more likely to consume content on YouTube. So I save my audio content for other places, but my video content I put on there. Another hack that I've been starting to do that I realize that works as well is that I have my podcast video and I have all my audio links on my website. So I just promote you on Instagram. I just promote you there. Now, if you want to listen to the audio, you can go click that. If you want to listen to the video, you can click that. You give them options. So you don't know, because there are some people that consume audio on Instagram. So that way you can kind of like lock in and just kind of pull them away. So you're pulling away from Instagram, bring them to your site. And now once you bring them to your site, you can say, oh, if they're audio, they'll go to audio. If they're video, they'll look at the video. So it gives them options and whatnot. So that's another trick that I use as well to promote it. So you got that. So you got how to promote your podcast. If you got money you want to pay, I've never paid for audio. I will probably pay, but I haven't paid. So I don't want to tell you too much about it because I haven't done it. I like to speak about things that I've done, and everything I've done, I've spoke about. I know it's out there for you if you want to do it, so you can. I just want to give you those options. All right. So now you're promoting your podcast, right? It takes 500 weekly downloads to become, to get into the advertising agency. What does that mean? You have to have 500 downloads per week where you can actually put paid ads on your podcast, where they'll go out there and Red Circle will go out there and get you people to pay you to be on their podcast. They'll get businesses and stuff like that. And that's when you're gonna start making money. Now, how's the money work? It's called CPM, cost per mile. That's all about the money, right? This is when you're first starting off, you don't have the ability to say, I want such and such for my podcast. You just don't. But what you're gonna do is, you're going to say $15 to start off. That's gonna get you all the ads, $15. What does that mean? Every 1,000 downloads, every 1,000 downloads, you're gonna get $15. So now if your episode does 2,000 downloads, you got $30 for that episode. Simple as that. If it does 10,000, you got $150 for that episode. It's simple like that. And when you're first starting out, that's what you're gonna have to do. And you wanna put it at 15 because 15, even 14 is gonna get you every single company that comes in and wants to advertise, they're gonna put them on your platform because you're getting it so low. Now, this is the blueprint. I'm telling you the blueprint. Once you get to 10,000, 10K downloads a month. These downloads represent a month, right? A month. I'm sorry, I said per episode because we were talking about episode, but these downloads represent per month, right? But once you get to 10,000 a month, Once you get to 10,000 downloads a month, that would mean your weekly download thing is at 2,500. You're gonna raise it to 25 to $30 per CPM. That's when you're gonna raise it. Once you get to 10,000 downloads, you're gonna raise your CPM to $25 to $30. Try 30, see how the ads go. It might take some time, it might not. But once you get to 10,000 downloads a month, you're gonna raise it to 25, 30 because now they know you have a core listening base, you have a premium product. They know that you're gonna start growing as a podcast. Now, that $30, what's that? 10 times 30 is $300 a month, right? $300 a month, I believe. Yep, that's $300 a month. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but you gotta think. Most likely you're doing 4 episodes a month, 4 episodes a month, right? That's 4 episodes. And you're getting 10,000 downloads. So 10,000 downloads with 4 episodes a month. You ready now? You ready to make that 300 more? All right, you listening? Are you listening? I got you. I'm telling you, I got you. I got you. I'm only dropping game. I'm only dropping game. I'm only trying to help. I'm only trying to help. All right. Now, if you don't have a podcast yet, you better apply this. If you do got a podcast and you're not applying this, you better apply this. So, you got 10,000 downloads a month with 4 episodes a month. It's time to double up now. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop 30 pieces of content a month. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop 30 pieces of content a month. How? We're gonna take those 4 episodes and we're gonna break them up into segments. We're gonna break them up into segments, right? Now, it might take you 3 months to get to 10,000 downloads. So in those 3 months, you already have, 12 episodes that you've already recorded, right? Now, keep this in mind if you're just starting. Start breaking those episodes up now. Start breaking them up now when you first start, so you have them ready on deck, right? And now the way you break them up is you break them up in video. Why? Because you're gonna take the same video segments and put them into audio. So now you're monetizing both platforms. You're monetizing YouTube and you're monetizing the audio platform. So if you're breaking them up along the way, you already have them stored. Just have them stored, whatnot, right? Boom. So now you have the segments. You've been breaking them up. You've been breaking your segments up. If you have a podcast and you have been breaking them up, just break up the segments now. But it takes time. But we're talking about workflows, making things seamless and smooth, right? So now you have all these different segments. If you got an hour show, you can have like 8 or 9 segments, but you only need 6. So you need 6 segments per week. Why? If Tuesday is your release day, it's 6 more days in that week. And you're gonna put a segment on every single day, every other day that you're not releasing. So that makes you have a piece of content on every single day. So now, if you're listening and you're doing what I'm telling you, you were at 10,000 before I told you this, right? A month. You were at 10,000 a month. With the same exact content, the same amount of work, everything's the same. You put the segments out, you're doing a segment, you automatically you're gonna 4X and go to 40K a month. You're gonna go to 40,000 downloads a month. Times that 30 is $1,200. Now you're making $1,200 a month. Just like that. So that 300, just by changing one thing, that 300 turns to 1,200 by not doing anything, by taking your other content and repurposing it and putting it on the podcast. And this is all you do, folks. You just consistently do it. You consistently do it. You consistently do it. And you consistently get on podcasts. You consistently text your friends, check out this podcast. You consistently ask for cross promotion, because now, when you have 40,000 downloads a month, you got access to people other people that have 40,000 downloads a month. So now your cross promotion is going to be even bigger. So now you're putting your podcast in front of other people with 40,000. So now it's going to grow faster, and it's a compound effect, and as simple as that. And if you're making $1,200 right now, you take that $1,200. That's what, $300 a week. $300 a week. I would put into ads. Just put it all into ads. Put the money back in. You already did it, right? This is just a small hack. Just keep putting it in ads. You want to grow it to, and I'm gonna kind of show you this. Once you get to 100,000, now you could demand what you want. If you want a spot on my ad, you could demand what you want. So once you got 100,000, right? You got 100,000 downloads a month. If the rate is 10,000 per million, right? So every million downloads that you have, you can ask for 10 million. I mean, for every million downloads you have, you can ask for 10,000 per ad on each episode. You can ask for that, right? That means 100,000 is gonna be 1,000. You say, hey, ad agency, if you want to put an ad on my podcast, you got to pay $1,000. No more CMA, no more CPM, no more CPM. If you want to put an ad on my podcast, you have to pay $1,000, sir. They're gonna get you 4 to 5 a month. 4 to 5 of those a month. With that, at that rate. With those 4 or 5, you're gonna be making $4,000 a month. We have $52,000 a year now. We have $1,000 a week, right? But my goal is to get you guys to 6 figures. You can consistently do what you do. Consistently do what you do. You do that for a year. Now you got 1 million downloads. What'd that say? $10,000 per million downloads. So each ad, you're gonna tell them you're gonna get $10,000. That's $120,000 a year. It's a simple math. I mean, that's the game. That's the game. I mean, I don't know what to tell you now. I think I've told you everything I can possibly tell you. So I'm gonna make this part 1. What you wanna do is you wanna make sure you have a website so you can lead them to the website. If you can get the website out before you release, that'd be cool, because you wanna use that feature where your website has a video and it has all the different links to the audio platforms under it. It's gonna be beneficial. But guys, I think I spoke about enough in this podcast. I think I kind of gave you a lot of game. I'm a review. And guys, if you have questions, hit me up in the comments. Email me, michael@michaeljmacdonald.com. I would love to answer them. Maybe I could do a live. I should have done this live. I was thinking about doing it live, but I didn't. I'm sorry. But I want you to take this information. I'm gonna review it and see if I missed anything. If I could go over it and add things to it, I will definitely do that. But you wanna take action. You have the blueprint, you have the information. People say they don't have the information. I can't do it. How can I do it? I don't have the information. I gave you all the information. I gave you the numbers. I gave you the how to make it. I gave you the format of how to make a show. Everything is here. You just got to do it. That's it. Just do it. Follow, like, subscribe. I'm out of here, y'all. Class was in session. We out of here.